Pre-workout scams in 2026. Pre-workouts have been the cornerstone of the scamming in supplements for a very long time. You've had a lot of scams that happened. You had scams like the amino spiking in protein. That was definitely one of them. The proprietary blends that people pack in pre-workouts, crazy amount of them. That was an entire era. To be clear, that's not necessarily saying that's a scam. That's definitely not a scam. It's just a consumer not knowing what they're doing. Because remember, I'll be the first to tell you, proprietary blends are not necessarily a bad thing. A brand could feel like they're trying to keep something private to them, that they have something special, a special sauce, a special formula, whatever the case may be. It's not necessarily indicative of something bad. And the only thing about proprietary blends that you could say is bad is you don't know the dose of each and every single ingredient. But you never know. A brand might feel like they have something special there that they want to keep to themselves. Totally respect it, get it. That's a whole different topic. Where you get into the scam part of this is brands that are essentially selling you caffeinated or flavored caffeine and yohimbe. So yohimbe, if you haven't had it, very powerful ingredient. We like it. We've used it in our Ape series pre-workouts. We've also used it in a new pre-workout that's going to be releasing. But we disclose how much you get in each serving. So back to the proprietary blend scam. The scam is essentially going to be that they list ingredients that you know to be great and effective ingredients. L-citrulline, beta-alanine, betaine anhydrous, things like that. They're going to put them at the top of the list so that way it looks like they have them in there. However, they're going to be very low dose on those ingredients, and then they'll work in the caffeine and yohimbe, because remember, these are all in milligrams, right? 800 milligrams, 600 milligrams, 300 milligrams, whatever the case may be of caffeine, it's milligrams. You could simply put everything else at 1,000 milligrams or 1,010 milligrams or whatever the case may be, which would make things like L-citrulline ineffective, but you could still put them at the top of your proprietary list. So you could pack in a lot of caffeine and a lot of yohimbe below all of that and keep your costs insanely low. Making things for $2 or $3, and then you can turn around and sell things for very, very cheap. Now, as a consumer, you should be buying pre-workouts to help support your training session. Get the most out of the time that you have in the gym. Support pumps, power, focus, performance, energy. Just like something like our pre here. No proprietary blend, each and every active ingredient listed here with the dose listed there. That way you could do your own research. You can look these up. You can find that we dose appropriately. And it's gonna deliver on all things. We don't go out and just continue to say, this has this much caffeine and that's the only talking point that we have. You'll see that often, 400 milligrams, 600 milligrams, 800 milligrams, or whatever the case may be. And that's the only thing they can say about their pre-workout. Your pre-workout is designed to optimize your training session. Be responsible, buy appropriately. So the proprietary blend scam, if you will, it's not necessarily the proprietary blend. It's brands that are going out, listing these things out, knowing they're giving you none of them, essentially putting caffeine and yohimbe at a high dose, so that way you really feel it, you think something is happening, they paid very little for it and they're selling it to you at a premium. Doesn't sound that great when you put it like that. That being said, to some degree, that is the responsibility of the buyer. Pay attention to what you're buying. And I will point out this, if you're simply looking for an energy kick, if that's what you're doing and you don't want to buy caffeine tablets and that's your choice, that's what you want to do, all good. But if you're a customer that is looking to optimize training sessions and you're looking for all those benefits, look for something like Pre with a stacked label here. In our case, it's going to taste amazing. Latino flavors lead the way. So choose something like that. Now, the other thing that I would say in 2026, it still shocks me that I'm seeing gray area ingredients in pre-workouts. I don't really understand it. It doesn't make much sense to me, but it's still happening. I don't know if certain companies assume the FDA is not going to do anything about it. I promise you, they'll take their time, they'll figure it out. They don't just let things slide. They likely will not just let it slide. There's a lot of gray area stuff going on right now. You guys know the categories. Trust me, it'll come full circle. Unfortunately so, that's just the way it goes. But yeah, gray area ingredients being put into pre-workouts is very confusing to me in 2026. Just because I think with the amount of information that we have out there, and I think the mindset of the consumer is much different today than it was 10 years ago, I think it's interesting that brands still feel the need to use that. Remember, if you're buying pre-workouts with these gray area ingredients, you are not gonna have the safety of production surrounding it, because places that are GMP, NSF, FDA registered facilities like we produce in can't bring those ingredients in. So the quality standard is definitely down and the risks are up. Just be aware of it. I'm somebody who thinks if that's what you wanna do, handle your business, shop accordingly. But for everybody out there who's generally trying to make themselves better and trying to move themselves into a better place in fitness and health. Make sure you're buying pre-workouts that are produced in GMP, NSF, FDA registered facilities or high quality of standard. Make sure you're buying pre-workouts that have an open label, list each and every active ingredient here, dosing here. Ideally, you buy one that tastes great like ours and doesn't clump. Pre is a great option. So if you're shopping for pre-workouts in 2026, keep an eye on the scams. Make good decisions with your money when you're buying pre-workouts. For everybody out there looking for pre-workout, I'll list the Primeval Labs pre-workout down in the bio. Links will be there. Make sure you guys check it out. Subscribe, share the video. We appreciate you guys. We're out of here.